15 review. And here we go. So I'll do the sprint statistics and the community update. Eric will do the UI, Adam on providers, Drew will do automate, Joe on platform, Alberto API, Suyog documentation. So we had 196 PRs merged the last 2 weeks, and here's the top 3 repos on the PRs merged: ManageIQ, UI Classic, and integration tests. And these 3 are always have the top number of PRs across all the repos. But the numbers kind of dropped over the past couple of sprints. And here, again, we had 239 PRs opened, 196 closed, and 383 still open. And here are the PRs closed by label. And the same thing, bug, enhancement, and test are the top 3 labels always. And the other category just includes performance, refactoring, technical debt, documentation, and developer. And those generally have like 1 or 2 PRs each. And last sprint, we didn't have this health report. We had an issue with code climate. So they're still working on 1 or 2 repos to resolve whatever the issue is in code climate. But here's the updated one. So everything looks okay. There were some bigger numbers for like UI Classic, but that's because we skipped, a month between the last health report. So, and for the community update, Hammer 8 was released. Thank you. And you can go there and read all about it. And on to Eric.
Okay, in the last sprint, the UI group had 40 PRs merged across 5 repos, including 18 bugs, 5 enhancements, 7 technical debt, 2 refactoring, 4 documentation, and 2 dependencies. Enhancements included removing the deprecated networks load balancer menu and the screens and supporting code, extending the toolbar pluggability to all plugins. Previously, this was limited to providers. In V2V, we made the Rails initializer name unique so it could be referenced in other plugins. We added a form for cloning dashboards, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. Also, we added pricing and currencies to the catalog items. Next slide, please. The clone dashboard form allows the users to copy an existing dashboard into the same or different group. The form uses asynchronous validation to check the name for duplication. Next slide, please. And we added pricing and currency to the catalog items. On the edit screen, we added a currency dropdown as well as a price text field in both the Angular and non-Angular forms. And that information is reflected in the summary screen and the details screen over on the right. And that's it for the UI.
And over to Adam. Adam might be tied up, so rather than just read verbatim what it says there, just please review. If you have any questions, feel free to just contact Adam directly or reference back these slides. And over to Drew.
So as far as enhancements go, we have a super important new change to how CloudForms and Ansible interact. So we added the ability to pass variables between successive Ansible playbooks in the state machine and to pass variables from Ansible to CloudForms. Eric already mentioned this, but we added currency dropdowns and price text fields to Angular and non-Angular catalog item editors and updated catalog item details screen to show the price information. As far as bugs go, we're now resetting AE reason and AE result and check refreshed when refresh may have completed is true. The update results and update reason state bars contain the previous values. So we were still setting retries from the previous execution, which caused the state machine to retry instead of proceeding to the next state. We're also now deleting an item correctly inside of a bundle from the UI. It used to result in the reporting of a successful deletion even though nothing actually got deleted. We now prominently display an error message. We had a bug where save, reset, and cancel buttons were appearing twice on tag assignment pages and services, and Robin fixed that. We also had a PR that used an inline view for services which sped them up, but we lost sorting and pagination, so the turbo got nixed in favor of the sorting and pagination working. And we're now using inclusion because false.blank returns true, so we changed the Boolean validation on dialog field visible to be an inclusion check, so false will not fail. We had an error also with nested dialog field associations where we weren't correctly traversing the paths of all of them, so that's being fixed. And my punning plan is to now hand it over to Joe V for the platform side. Maybe, if he's here.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this sprint, 20 PRs were merged into the platform space. A good dent was made on bugs. Words are hard for me this morning. An authentication PR was made by a non-Red Hat community contributor, which was exciting. And some improvements were made to our continuous integration and test space. I'll jump in and review the highlights. Keenan fixed a bug with what we call the turbo button, where reports would fail. He also made a change to improve the performance in this area. Keenan also updated bin console, fixing the gem name change for the active record virtual attributes. Nick C fixed a condition that could break notification creation in the set notification recipients method by ensuring a type would never return a nil. Nick C also fixed a bug where the after create hook for the leaf class would not fire, resulting in an improperly created instance, which dominoed into could lead to errors when trying to create catalog items. Yuri fixed a bug where a user object could be deleted even when being referenced by another model. I fixed a bug in the appliance console where adding temp storage would fail on our RHEL 8 based appliances, and a big thank you to Nick C for reminding me where this change would also be needed upstream and made. Brandon fixed a bug with log file configuration. To accomplish this, he also needed to address an alignment and whitespace issue in the Linux admin chat. Next slide, please. Brandon did some random refactoring and cleanup of the service templates. Keenan made an enhancement to active record virtual attribute to not modify the field's parameter when passing it to the select call. Nick C made an enhancement to migrate AWX, not AWS, which I originally read wrong when I was reviewing the PR, totally threw my mind, the AWX credentials into the ManageIQ database for embedded Ansible. Greg T, our fearless leader, created a new utility tool for reconnecting resources to an external management system. Libor made an enhancement for tenant ancestry, which will contribute to an open RF he's been working on, which will allowing more visibility into tenant objects. An external contributor, as I mentioned earlier, made an enhancement to the MIQ LDAP authentication to properly handle the multi-value mail attribute if the user record is configured in LDAP to have more than one email address. Next slide, please. And wrapping things up, a new heading I've created: continuous integration automation. Keenan added development dependencies for bybug, so we can avoid continuously have to manually add and remove it when doing development. Brandon addressed an issue where the MIQ bot integration jobs were failing. And Brandon also made an enhancement to a spec test environment by moving the Git repository URL generation into a factory. And that wraps it up for the platform space. No puns, just let Alberto talk about the next topic.
Thanks, Joe, for the restful transition. Alrighty. So on the API side, we have two enhancements that came in. The first one by Jason to allow the API YAML to be pluggable. This is to help make all things pluggable. So what this would allow is having the ManageIQ plugins to also include API controller code, which is a good thing, so that would not require a separate PR for the MIQ API code. So with this PR, plugins can extend the API YAML that essentially defines the new endpoints, collections, subcollections, and actions related to that, as well as related authorization, so as exposed by the plugin. So next PR by Martin M. So here we are extending the Pixie server endpoints. So the one enhancement is to add the sub-collection Pixie menus, as shown on the get there, but primarily is to allow for create, updates, and deletes on those endpoints. So essentially, this enhancement is essentially allowing the UI to move to the newer UI components for the old Pixie server. So, and showing here the examples of the posts for the create or the action edit and the patch, as well as the post delete action or the delete verb. And that's it for the API. Next slide, please.
And over to Suyog. Okay, well, Suyog was nice enough to update this slide, so if you have any questions, contact Suyog. And I think that is going to be it. So the next sprint 116 is in 2 weeks, July 24th at 10:30, and that is it. Thanks for attending. Goodbye.